The knight Bowen finds himself in a battle with a fierce dragon. Just as he is about to deliver the final blow, he hesitates. Realizing that the dragon can speak, the dragon offers a deal. If Bowen spares his life, they will work together to deceive people and make it seem like Bowen has slain the dragon. Bowen agrees, and thus begins an epic adventure filled with action, magic, and unexpected twists. But what will happen when Bowen realizes that he's been duped? Will he stay loyal to his dragon companion, or will he turn against him? Join us as we will discover the thrilling conclusion in the summary of the classic movie Dragonheart. For more extraordinary tales filled with betrayal, adventure, and love, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. Done? Let's get started. The movie begins with Bowen, a knight of the old code of honor, valor, and chivalry, tutoring his young protege, Einon, in swordplay and the values of a knight. Einon is the king's son and heir to the throne. Suddenly, Brock, leader of the armies of King Phryne, interrupts the duo, telling Einon of a peasant rebellion, and King Phryne wishes for Einon to witness it being crushed. Therefore, Einon rushes to the village, forcing Bowen to follow and protect him. Einon thinks Bowen's sword will be the best on the battlefield, but the knight warns him to learn the difference between battle and butchery. Only by doing so will he be a greater ruler than his father. Einon promises that he will be a greater ruler. Then the youth rushes off to watch his father ride off alone and set fire to huts and homes. The king is surrounded by peasants in an ambush. Phryne is dismounted and killed, and when the villagers disperse, Einon rushes from his hiding place and takes the crown off his father's head. Phryne, who isn't quite dead yet, grabs Einon, who struggles free, yelling, "It's mine!" In the confusion, a young girl wearing a bucket on her head as a helmet falls off of the balcony of a smoking hut and knocks Einon into a spiked post, which pierces through his chest, grievously wounding him. The girl takes off her headgear to reveal long red hair. The two stare at each other for a moment, the girl remorseful and Einon with pain, until Bowen rides in and grabs Einon, rushing him to the castle. To save the prince's life, his mother, Queen Aislinn, approaches the benevolent dragon Draco and gets one condition. Einon must swear to rule with justice and compassion. With his last breath, Einon takes the oath, receives half of the dragon's heart, and with it, partial immortality. Aislinn bows before the dragon in gratitude, while Bowen promises to repay the favor any way he can, any time when the dragon might need him. On the way back, Einon calls Brock and tells him that he will rebuild the Roman fortress. Brock states that the task will take many men, and Einon says, yes, it will. However, as soon as he ascends to the throne, King Einon goes back on his word, using Draco's power and magic to assert his tyrannical power and control over the people of Erland. With time, his cruelty and wickedness grow, and he imposes heavy taxes on the people, takes their wealth, and keeps it to himself. In addition, Einon crushes all forms of rebellion and forces the peasants to provide hard labor to rebuild the castle. The rebel leader, Redbeard, and several of his best allies are brought before young Einon. To everyone's horror, the king demands that their eyes be burned out, but Bowen interferes and breaks the chains on Redbeard and a few other peasant leaders, allowing them to escape. Einon berates Bowen for interfering, but the knight protests Einon's cruelty towards his subjects, reminding him of the code. In an enraged response, Einon claims that the king is above the code, and Bowen angrily tells Einon that the king is even more bound to the code than anyone in the kingdom. Unable to withstand Einon's aggravated, cruel demeanor, Bowen deserts his post and dedicates his life to training the villagers to hunt and kill dragons, aiming to find the one that caused the king to be so hateful. Over the course of 12 years, he wipes out the creatures until only one is left. Meanwhile, Draco mourns the loss of his mates and highly regrets sharing his heart with Einon, an act that has left him torn between Einon's inherently evil half and his compassionate side. As he finally meets the dragon, Bowen does not recognize Draco and enrages him in a fierce fight. However, the dragon wrestles the knight and eventually forms an alliance with him to stage his slaying and trick the villagers into paying for the services. The alleged killings go on for a while, and as the two get closer, Bowen is still unaware of Draco's connection to Ionon. Meanwhile, one of the prisoners at Ionon's tower is the father of Kara, the peasant girl who nearly killed the king. She sneaks to the field where he is laboring and tries to offer him water. However, King Ionon appears and shoots the cup off the old man's hands. When Kara begs the king to release the old man, the cruel ruler shoots an arrow through the old man's heart and leaves the girl moaning as a monk named Brother Gilbert watches in hiding and recites poetry. Later, Kara infiltrates the king's castle and aims to kill him, but as the reflection from his drink betrays her and she is captured and taken away, screaming about the death of her father. Then Ionon goes to see her, and on recognizing Kara from the stabbing incident, he boasts that he owes her for getting him the magical heart. He gets her unchained, cleaned, and brought to his bedroom, where he offers to marry and make her queen. As expected, Kara is repulsed and she resists, forcing the king to walk away and leave her to think over his proposal. Immediately, a secret passage opens and Queen Aislinn, who overheard Kara about her father's killing and despises what her son has become, helps the lady escape. Kara then returns to the village and tries to convince the other peasants to revolt against the king. However, remembering what her father led them to earlier, they resist and offer her as bait for the dragon, who is about to stage a slaying by Bowen. Draco eventually arrives, grabs Kara in his mouth, and takes her to one of his caves, where he reveals his kind nature. When Bowen arrives, she takes out a knife to defend the dragon, but soon realizes the two are working together. Suddenly, Ionon arrives to take her and meets Bowen, engaging him in a fierce battle. As the two men struggle, Ionon mocks Bowen by declaring he never believed in the old code and only used his mentor to learn how to fight. As the knight hesitates with shock from the revelation, the king takes advantage and nearly kills Bowen, but Draco intervenes and exposes his half-heart to Ionon, forcing him to flee in fear. Kara later asks Bowen to help overthrow Ionon, but the disillusioned knight declines. Afterwards, Bowen reunites with Brother Gilbert at another village, while Kara tries exposing him and the dragon for the tricks. The villagers again mock her until they witness the allegedly dead dragon rise from a river which turned out too shallow to hide him. Then they turn on Bowen, Kara, and Gilbert, swearing to cut them up and eat them. Just in time, Draco emerges and rescues the trio, delivering them to Avalon, the legendary resting place of King Arthur. There, Draco reveals the truth about his shared heart with Ionon. He clarifies that by sacrificing his heart, he had hoped to change the king's nature, reunite the races of man and dragon, and earn a place in the dragon's heaven known as the Constellation. Now, Draco fears his act has cost him his soul, and his spirit is doomed to vanish upon death, but he is willing to confront Ionon and try to redeem himself. As Gilbert also reveals that he intends to expose Ionon, Bowen remains skeptical. Then a vision of King Arthur appears, reminding him of his knightly honor, and he joins the party. Bowen, Kara, Gilbert, and Draco coordinate and train the villagers into a formidable army. Meanwhile, word of the training and arming reaches Ionon, and he grows restless, aware of the impending confrontation. Fearing the threat that Draco and Bowen collectively pose to him and his rule, the king sends his soldiers to capture or kill them and fortifies the tower. When the village army, led by the 3 humans and a dragon, arrive, they encounter numerous clashes with the king's fiercely loyal soldiers. In addition, they face several emotional challenges that test their resolve and beliefs. First, Bowen still holds deep-rooted prejudices against dragons after the death of his mentor in the hands of one. Overcoming this entrenched bias and learning to trust and count on Draco is tasking for the knight. However, he has to confront his misconceptions and give a chance to the possibility of change. Secondly, Draco, a wise and ancient dragon, bears the load of his past, especially the mistakes he has made. He regrets his initial trust in humans, as most had betrayed his kind. This emotional burden makes him skeptical, but he has to overcome his fears and find hope in the possibility of redeeming Ionon and altering the path of their shared destiny. However, as Draco and Bowen's physical struggle continues, they form a deep bond and friendship and learn to rely on each other for support, guidance, and protection. This bond helps them overcome their emotional challenges and fuels their resolve to confront King Einen. Finally, they infiltrate Einen's castle, known as the Tower of Einen, to confront the despot directly. As the tower is heavily guarded and booby-trapped, Bowen, Kara, and Draco navigate through a maze of traps, including hidden devices and snares. They also face an endless number of guards who are well-trained and determined to die for the king, engaging in fierce battles and sometimes evasive maneuvers. Realizing the need for secrecy and surprise, the four employ stealth and infiltration techniques to make it through the tower undetected. They utilize the concealment of shadows, disguises, and their combined skills to bypass security and avoid some of the direct confrontation. As they venture deeper, Bowen, Kara, and Draco encounter magical beings and artifacts, besides Einen's inner circle of advisors, captains, and other powerful individuals who have always supported the king in his oppressive rule. Finally, after overcoming all the defenses, the villagers reach King Einen's chamber, where the definitive confrontation takes place. While Bowen challenges Einen in a sword fight, Draco shields against more of Einen's loyal guards. At stake is the fate of the kingdom and Einen's possible redemption or death. Meanwhile, Kara provides strategic support from the sidelines, identifies weaknesses in Einen's defenses, and communicates this to Bowen and Draco. She also uses her agility to divert the attention of Einen's guards and engages them in combat to draw them away from her accomplices. In addition, the Superwoman takes advantage of the chaos to gather documents, maps, and other valuable secrets that exposes Einen's transgressions during his tyrannical rule. As the sword fight continues, Bowen exploits his knighthood skills, while Einen, driven by his wickedness and the magic of Draco's shared heart, fights to keep his kingdom. With his immense size and dragon capabilities, Draco defends against Einen's faithful sentries who continue to emerge, even as the dragon and the mob of villagers slay them. Draco uses his strength, fire-breathing abilities, and aerial maneuvers to take down the guards and prevent them from ending the fight between Bowen and King Einen. As the battle continues, Einen becomes increasingly aware that his former mentor still bears an upper hand over him, so he tries several dirty maneuvers and loses. Repeatedly, Bowen and Draco force Einen to face the consequences of his past actions and the dark desire within him. The protagonists also point out the conflict with Einen, as Draco's shared heart conflicts with his malevolence and try to redeem him. Eventually, Gilbert strikes Einen in the heart with an arrow. Draco, who is flying above an army of Einen's soldiers, feels the shared pain, drops from the sky, and is captured. Realizing his immortality is dependent on Draco's survival, Einen fights to keep Draco alive. However, knowing their connection, the queen attempts to grant Draco's request and kill him, but Einen intercepts and kills his mother, demonstrating how much he is determined to remain in power. At this critical moment, Draco still offers Einen the chance to embrace redemption or yield to his darkness. Unbelievably, Einen continues fighting Bowen and gets the upper hand for a while, breaking the knight's sword and pinning him to the floor. Bowen then uses a stone to strike Einen in the head and frees himself. Then Kara throws him a dragon slayer axe, and he manages to catch it just as the king comes charging towards him. When Einen attempts to strike Bowen, he misses and accidentally falls from the tower of the castle and into the bathing house. Now, Draco begs Bowen to kill him and end Einen's reign, but the knight is highly conflicted and resists the dragon. Soon Einen arrives and ambushes Kara, holding her hostage and threatening Bowen that if he moves, he kills her. Therefore, Draco bites off one of his claws, causing Einen to feel the pain and release Kara. Enraged, the king grabs his dagger and charges at Bowen to kill him, but the knight throws the dragon slayer axe at Draco's exposed half-heart, causing Einen to slow down and fall to the ground. He dies soon after, along with Draco, ending the reign of terror for good. Kara, Brother Gilbert, and the triumphant villagers gather around Draco's body. Bowen is mourning his enemy-turned-friend's passing, not knowing whom to turn to from there. Then, he hears Draco's voice asking him to look to the stars. Draco's body dissipates into an undulating ball of reddish light that slowly ascends into the skies. It heads towards the very constellation that Bowen named him after. The other stars gather around Draco's soul, and everybody understands the collective of dragons is welcoming the last of their kind home. Bowen finally smiles as he knows that Draco has redeemed himself and earned entry into his heaven. The movie ends with Brother Gilbert recounting that Bowen and Kara led the people of Erland through a golden age of wisdom, justice, and unity for many years, and that Draco's star always shone down on them. It was a source of inspiration and strength whenever they needed it. What did you learn from the movie? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channels for movie reviews and recaps like this one. See you in the next videos. Bye!